Kimmy ought to be ashamed of herself.
Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25
What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. We are here today to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 10, Episode 3. And the name of the episode is called More or Less the Favorite. I'm loving the show. I'm loving the show. I can't even lie. I'm loving the show. I feel like it's bringing out a lot of emotion out of me. And I think that's what, I'm a sensitive Cancer, so I be in my feelings. But the show is bringing a lot out of me. So the episode started off with a continuation of what went on at Ken and Latisha's house. See, I'm getting Latisha right. I'm getting the name right, okay? I still might say Latricia every now and then, but that's what it looked like to me when I see it spelled. It looked like it could be, with Black names or, with our names, we could be very particular in the way that the name is pronounced, right? Like some people, for instance, the first thing that popped in my head is Shakari, right? Her name is Shakari. Some people still call her Shakari, and we are very particular on how the name looks. But when I see it on paper, I think Latricia. But it seems that the altercation between Marquez and Ken, it looked like it got physical. They didn't show anything. And so throughout the episode, they referenced that they was tussling, but they never said who won or what happened, right? All they kept on saying was that they was tussling. It seems like when Marquez was leaving, he started throwing shit down. To me, that looked like somebody. When you lost the fight, you get to throwing shit and tearing shit off the wall. He looked like he threw down the lamp or something or whatever. He looked like he threw down the lamp or something. Now, Xavier was there. And when I saw Xavier come downstairs, the first thing that popped in my mind is, how did we get here? And only thing that happened was that Xavier asked Marquez to pick up Daria from school or from dance practice or wherever she was at, and it seems like it turned into World War III. And I'm standing on this. At the end of the day, Marquez, Trisha, Xavier, and Daria are family, whether she likes it or not. They're a non-traditional family. When I say family, what I mean is those are two people that share two children. If something happened to those kids, Marquez is the one who will be making decisions with her.
Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that.
Not Ken. Shit, even if something happened to Trisha, Ken wouldn't be making decisions. If something happened to Trisha and those kids had to go live somewhere else, they will go and live with their daddy. They will not be living with Ken. That is not Ken's family. Trisha is his bitch. Point blank in the period. If Trisha, and I think that all of these problems start from Trisha. If Trisha had a problem with Marquez coming to their house, that was a conversation that she should have had with her kids and Marquez. I'm not saying that Marquez should be able to come into the house because he got kids there. I'm not saying that. But I think that since the children are the ones who are inviting him over, and it seems like he's coming over with the kids, Trisha should tell the kids and Marquez her boundaries. Look, this is my house. This is my sanctuary. That's y'all daddy. I get it. I don't like him like that. The nigga can stay on the porch. The nigga can stay in the parking lot. The nigga can even come into the garage, but he cannot come in this house. They keep saying that he came over there with the daughter and he was opening the door. He came in the house with the daughter. Trisha is acting like the kids is already in the house and the nigga came in and sat on the couch and made a sandwich or something. Does he not get any grace for helping the daughter in the house? Yeah, you don't want him in the house. We know that now going forward. But he came into the house. He was helping the daughter with her bags. You don't want him over there. Okay, it's time to move on now. She act like the nigga came in there and made something to eat or something and put his feet up. And I also think that involving Ken in the situation and Ken involving himself in the situation makes it bad. Now that things have gotten physical, the kids now will feel like they have to choose or even hold resentment towards Ken and Latricia if Marquez don't want to come around no more. To me, that's an excuse because nobody would ever be able to keep me away from my kids. But you know how sometimes people can be. I could see them having resentment. Like my daddy coming around here, all I asked to do was ask my daddy to go pick up my sister from school so they can have a relationship, because we heard Ken say even last episode that Xavier does miss the relationship that he had with his dad. Daria, I believe she's like 12 or something. At least she's underage. And he's probably trying to build that relationship with him and his daughter, and then look at what's going on. And the issue is, I think that Ken is overstepping and Latricia is letting him overstep. Let's use Kimmy and Maurice as an example, right? Kimmy and Maurice have an understanding that Kiowa is Monster's mother, no matter what. Last week when Maurice was telling Ken and Latricia that Marquez is their dad no matter what, Ken got to talking about who the teachers know and who they see and this and that and this and that.
Shut your f***ing mouth. I've had enough of you, you beast.
Nigga, so what? So what? I'm sure the teachers at Monster School see Kimmy more than they see Kiowa. Because Kiowa, from my understanding, lives somewhere else. Don't she still live in Detroit? Kiowa lives in Detroit, so they probably see Kimmy more. She's the one who lives in the house with the father. That doesn't make him her mama. And that don't make you they daddy. Again, that's your bitch. But those are Marquez kids. And with Xavier coming downstairs, could you imagine if Marquez had lost the fight? How the children would feel? Imagine how Monster would feel if Kiowa and Kimmy got into a fight and Kimmy actually won the fight. Right? I couldn't imagine my daddy wife beating up on my mom and I'm living in a house with the bitch.
And when it comes down to my mother,
she'll wake up and I'll be standing right on top of the bitch with a pillow getting ready to smother her ass. In the middle of the night. Right? I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna give you a monster. I think that the issue for me, what I see, is that Trisha has issues with Marquez stepping up. They have an issue with him stepping up. I think that Ken is getting too involved. That's her man, but this is not his family. That's Marquez's family and Trisha's family. That's his girlfriend, and those are her children, but that's not his family. They're gonna have to find a way to coexist for those children. Again, if something happens to those kids, Marquez will be the one that will be called. Even if something happened to Trisha, the kids will be making decisions and they will be trying to go with their daddy. Period. That's not his family. Kimmy is having date night with Maurice. And see, this is why I don't do blended families. She is telling Maurice that she's talked to Jaylen about the family business. And I guess the family business is going to be Jordan Lane. I don't know what it's supposed to be, though. I just know the name is Jordan Lane, but they haven't said if it was a bowling alley or what it was, but it's supposed to be with all four of them. And Jaylen is asking, is it going to be a real family business or a dictatorship with Maurice? Then Kimmy ended up telling Maurice that Jaylen doesn't look to Maurice as a father figure. He looks to Marsau as a father figure. And Kimmy, I'm putting the blame on you. I'm putting the blame on you. It's like she's trying to put it on Maurice. In my heart of hearts, and I'm telling you, I feel like I have a high intelligence. I can look at people and tell their emotions. I have a high emotional intelligence. When I see people in the way that they react to stuff, I can usually look at a situation and see something that happens and tell you how a person feels by the way that they're moving. To me, Maurice don't really give a damn. He's just upset that it's being said, and it's being said on camera.
I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying at all.
But Kimmy, I blame you. You remember, I used to watch the show a long time ago. I will never forget. My mom is the one who actually got me to watching the show. And I remember they was all at the house. It was the summertime because Monster was there. This is before Monster actually moved in. And Jaylen was at work and they was about to get something to eat. And they took a vote. Maurice and Monster wanted something specific and Kimmy wanted something specific. And they took a vote. And Kimmy was like, well, what about Jaylen? Jaylen didn't vote. And he was like, oh, well, he can get something else. That is what Maurice said. And Kimmy was like, well, that's not right. He's a part of the family. And he was like, do you think that I treat Jaylen any different? And Kimmy said, yes. Kimmy said, yes. And I feel like the approach that Maurice has taken with him is that, well, he grown, or he older. I ain't got to really worry about him. My son is the one that needs to be, you know what I'm saying? No, absolutely not. And she almost had tears in her eyes when she said it. And me and my mom had a conversation, and my mama was like that. She felt like Maurice was saying, I was like, girl, you'll let a nigga come in here and mistreat me? Jaylen is a part of the family. He lives there as well. If we're gonna all eat dinner and we're gonna go get dinner and we all gonna eat it, then he should have a vote into what's going on. And they want to make it seem like, oh, well, he grown, he grown. They always do. I always see people do that, especially when it's boys. Oh, he grown, he grown, he grown. Maurice a grown ass man too, and Kimmy got to worry about what he want to eat. So why we ain't got to worry about what Jaylen? Why is Jaylen not included? I would be divorced from somebody if they. I'm being real with you. I would divorce somebody if they mistreated my child, and I mean that with every bone in my body. I would not expect him to treat Jaylen like he treats Monster because that is his biological son. It will never be that. But you're not going to mistreat my child. You would not. It will. If I was Kimmy, my heart would be fucking broken. My heart is broken. My heart is broken now. Kimmy was in here last week or the week before filling out college applications with Monster. And you mean to tell me that your son looks to his stepdad's brother as a father figure? What the fuck was you doing? What the fuck was you doing? You in here being a second mother to his son, and he looked to your husband like a big brother? Kimmy need her ass whooped. And my thing is, how come Kimmy wasn't checking in with her son? And she said later on in the episode that she had told Maurice this before, but that wasn't enough for you to leave? The mistreatment of your child? You let this man mistreat your child? You're horrible, or didn't make your son feel loved or wanted? Because Jaylen is saying that he felt like motherfucking Cinderella. That's how I took it. This will be about to be all over the place because it's gonna be all over the place. Not all over the place, but you know, I'm gonna be jumping in and out, in and out, and in and out. And Maurice knows that he made a difference between the kids. He playing stupid. He's giving fake concern, and I feel like throughout the episode he was trying to reverse engineer his actions. Oh, well, because he was older, they up next in line. No, nigga, because he was older, you felt like that you didn't really have to do that much. He was a grown man already. Ain't that much I need to teach him. That's how you treated him. I also feel like that he didn't like Jaylen, so he wasn't invested in trying to get to know him and trying to be a parent to him. Whereas if he didn't like Monster, he would still try to make an effort because that is his biological son. You get what I'm saying? Kimmy, I can't believe that you let this go down, and you ought to be ashamed to let this come out your mouth. This is not a good look. This is not a good look. Okay? We'll come back to them later. Next, we got Nell. To me, y'all, don't Nell kind of look like Tiny to y'all? Nell kind of gives me Tiny. She was talking to Chris, and she was telling him, you know, she needs to have a conversation with Destiny. Then they showed a clip of her inviting Sonny to a bachelorette party, and her saying that she needs to make a decision. Destiny saying that she needs to make a decision or something like that about if they can go forward with their friendship. And she was talking about how she has counseled her before. And then Nell is kind of saying that with Lance, I guess Destiny ended up talking to Lance. And Destiny, for me, Destiny strikes me as a person who every time that she's talking to a person, she's expecting it to be in a relationship or turning into a marriage or something. Like everything is so serious. But sometimes some things is just for right now. I just don't, from what I'm seeing on this show, in my head, I don't think that Lance and Destiny's relationship was that serious as Destiny probably made it seem, or what Destiny thought. To me, it seems like Destiny was looking for marriage from Lance or something potentially leading to marriage. I was talking to one of my friends this weekend, and she was trying to date this guy, and for whatever reason, her and the guy didn't work out. And she was telling me that she had kind of missed the guy because her and the guy had engaged in adult activities. And she wanted to text him. And I was like, well, you should text him. And she was like, well, no, because we're not going to be together. I was like, well, you know now that y'all are not going to be in a relationship. But if that's what because she was telling me that she wanted to do this stuff, do the nasty with him. You know, and I was like, well, maybe you should text him and say that. I was like, you already know now that a relationship is not going to happen. So if you miss the person and you still miss that, maybe that could be, you know, sexual relationship that you can carry on with them until they meet somebody, they probably be interested in that, right? But every time you meet up with somebody, or everything is not going to always lead to a marriage or a long-term relationship. And I think that that's what Destiny was expecting from her relationship with Lance. Nell also told Chris that Kimmy invited them out. So now we see the girls show up. And when I say the girls, it's everybody, all of the women on the show except for Destiny. Destiny was not there. Basically what happened, what I took from it, the women asked Nell, did she know that Lance had a baby on the way? When she hooked them up, when she hooked Destiny and Lance up. She said that she didn't know, but I don't believe that.
Lying, trifling bitch.
I don't believe that. I'm sure I'm sure everybody that looked at that, listen, I have a high emotional, I could look at somebody and tell when they're lying. She definitely was lying. She knew that Lance had a baby on the way. She knew that Lance had a baby on the way. And my thing with Destiny is I grew up in an area where I grew up in Houston, which is a city, but the area of Houston that I grew up in, I consider it like the country. If my dad and I graduated from the same high school, my great aunt graduated from she was the first, okay, my best friend, my great aunt and my best friend's mother was the first class to graduate from my high school when they desegregated. So they were the first class to graduate from my high school when Black people was able to attend the high school that I ended up graduating from, correct? The only reason why my grandmother didn't graduate there because they were still segregated at the time. And she's 7 years older than my great aunt. And I say that to say, when there was a new person that came to my high school, especially a new Black person, we knew it. Everybody in my neighborhood knew each other's business. And I always, when I'm growing up, I was like, oh, baby, this is too messy for me. I don't want to be a part of this. So the fact that Destiny would even carry on a relationship with her friend's son, to me, is nasty, nasty work. And then to think that it would lead to something serious, right? I just think that I just would never, I don't even, if I have a friend and my friend, like for instance, I've met up with friends before and we've like met up to go out and they've had friends that was there and they friends would want to like talk to me or hit them up and be like, can I get this person your number? This person wants your number? No. Hell no, I'm not interested. I don't get down like that. It's too close to home for me. Cause you know, what if I be on my left eye shit and kicking in doors and shit and burning up houses? You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to be all in my business and stuff like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's too close to home for me. So to me, it's just too close to home for me. I don't know why Destiny even put herself in that position, especially with this show. It's messy. Destiny probably looking for a man because I looked at a clip to see what was going on with Sonny because I thought that Sonny was maybe Lance's baby mama, but Sonny was a friend of hers that ended up messing with a nigga that she was messing with that she seemed to be tight about. Girl, that ain't your baby. That wasn't LeBaric. I'm not saying that she can't be upset. I just think, to me, Destiny just seemed to be dick hungry. She just seemed to just be looking for a man. I gotta have a man. You're gonna got people like that. They always got to be in relationships. They always got to be in relationships. That's what she seemed to me. Then Nell ended up asking Latisha and Kimmy how they felt about the interview that Martell gave. And so we know Martell gave an interview with Ariane and another woman who claimed that she had both of the brothers, the Scott brothers, Maurice and Marsau.
Oh, please, darling, cool it down.
And they said that they didn't believe it.
I don't know. Take what you want from that. That's what he said.
They said that they didn't believe it because of how, and Kimmy specifically said that she didn't believe it by the way that the woman looked. How this looked, girl, please, baby. What about what the woman can do, baby? Fuck how the woman look. What about what the woman can do? And I told y'all on the earlier review, a lot of niggas when they cheat, they go and cheat down because they know that nobody would expect that they would really be sleeping with this person if something was to find, if they were to be found out.
Message.
What about what the woman can do, baby? You don't know. What about what the woman can do? That's what you need to really be worried about, Kimmy. And I think that them girls was there. I just don't believe that they that dumb. I'm not saying that it happened, But to just look at the woman and be like, oh no, that didn't happen. It don't even sound believable.
Let me tell you something, Miss Fleet.
They also talked about Chris saying something and Maurice, I don't know. I guess Chris had said something about the Scott brothers getting NDAs, and Kimmy was telling Nell that Maurice was upset because he's never said anything about Chris and Nell's relationship. He never made a joke or said anything about it at all. So we'll see what's going to happen with that later on. So then Jaylen and Maurice, they ended up going to meet up and they're going to play pool. I can tell that Jaylen was uncomfortable with the conversation because he was stuttering over his words, but I'm glad that he did find the words to say how he felt. He said that with Marsau and Maurice, the tendencies that they had towards him is to go out and figure it out. I do believe that, though. Especially with Maurice. It's like, you're not a Scott. You're not a Scott boy, so we're not about to treat you like a Scott. You don't got this Scott blood running through your veins. I really believe that. I do believe that. I do believe that there are just some things that the Scott men have, and you're not a Scott man, and we're not about to treat you like that. I believe that wholeheartedly with Maurice. I do. The whole time Jaylen was trying to say how he felt, Maurice was trying to justify his actions and trying to be right. And Jaylen is basically telling him he felt like Cinderella. Anytime there needed to be something done around the house, he felt like that Maurice would always tell him to do it. And Monster was sitting right there. But anytime something happened, he would just be calling on him. And Kimmy, where the fuck was you at? Where the fuck was you at when your son was around here being treated like motherfucking Cinderella? And no wonder the boy wants to move away because he probably don't feel like that he got nobody. Kimmy, you could try to put it on Maurice all you want, and Maurice got a part to play, but how do you think your son sees that you knew that he was in there being mistreated and you didn't do nothing about it? You allowed it to go on. You still with the nigga. You put this man before your child. That's what it reads to me, that you put this man before your child because you knew he wasn't treating your child right. And I'm not saying because he ended up asking him, do you think that the love was different? Maurice, don't play on my motherfucking top. You love Monster more. You love Monster more. I'm not a really. I'm a little against ready-made families a little bit, but I will never mistreat nobody's son. When I say I will never be able to love a child like mine that I brought into this world, right? I don't think that I would ever be able to do that, but I would never mistreat nobody's child. We both got. If we in here got to do chores and stuff, everybody in here gonna be doing chores. I don't believe in mistreating nobody's child. Kimmy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And so he told him, yeah, of course you love Monster more. It was that's your actual son. And so he said, when we get into these relationships, he said, when we get into these relationships in the marriage, you choose that relationship. You choose to be a parent to this other child.
Nigga, please.
You didn't choose to be no father to him because you didn't become a father to him. You never was a father figure to him. You was fucking his mama. Again, like I said over there with Ken, his mama was your bitch, and he just came with the deal. That was the deal. She had a son that came with it, but you wasn't really trying to father him. Jaylen said that it wasn't all him, that he did try not to get too attached to Maurice, because that was just his mama boyfriend, and he didn't know if it would work out, if it would last. And I understand that. But I feel like that if Maurice would have made more of an effort if Maurice would have showed up like a father figure to you, you would have no choice but to get attached. If he was really trying hard, he would have no choice but to get attached. Right? Monster can say the same thing. Oh, I was trying not to get attached to Kimmy, but when she in here making my meals every day, she waking me up in the morning, she helping me fill out college applications, she taking me to and from practice. She's actually spending time with me, asking me how I felt. You know what I'm saying? You have no choice but to get attached. That she's checking in with him, seeing how his day went, seeing where he's at mentally. No, but how are you really feeling? You have no choice but to get attached. Maurice's job was to make you feel attached and to make you feel like that you had a safe space within him. I'm not your biological daddy, but I'm here for you. I'm your bonus dad. And where is Jaylen's daddy anyway? Kimmy, Kimmy, this makes you and Maurice look bad. Then we got Ken. Ken meets up with Chris and one of his friends And he's trying to explain to them, he tell them about what happened with Marquez, and he's trying to explain to them that he and Trisha have a perfect relationship outside of Marquez. They ain't buying it. They saying it don't take 7 to 8 years to divorce somebody if y'all really want to divorce. And they see it different. They see it different. And his friend basically said, if I was you, I would have cut ties with Trisha a long time ago. And Trisha got some bullshit up with her. And I think that to me, I feel like Ken is more in love with the kids than he is with Trisha. I do. I think that he is more in love with the kids than he got, particularly the daughter. And I don't mean it in no nefarious or perverted type way, but I think that he loved the idea of being a father than he does being with Trisha. And I think that with him and Trisha building this gym, that he doesn't want it to be murky. But I think that with him putting him in it, I think that with Ken, it getting physical with Marquez and Ken, that he needs to just count his losses now. They need to divide the gym up and just set it apart, because I don't see this working out. I couldn't imagine my mama's husband coming downstairs and seeing my mama's husband putting his hands on my daddy and me not jumping in. This is crazy. This is crazy. And they see Trisha as a problem. Trisha is a problem. Trisha is a problem. I don't think that Trisha if Marquez is over there putting his hands and stuff on putting his hands and stuff on Trisha and calling her bitches and hoes and stuff, I can see her involving Ken. But the man coming into the house, helping his daughter in the house, she's sitting up here lying, talking about he busted in the house. He did not bust in the house, girl. He didn't bust into the house, baby. He was coming in there, dropping your daughter off. There was a conversation she should have had. I don't think that Ken should have been involved until the shit got serious. And to me, he hadn't got serious yet. There's some petty shit that she got going on. Tell the man and tell the kids that you don't want him in the house, and we could have moved forward. Now you got bullshit going on around here with these kids. The last scene, it was disguise. We talking about Jaylen. Jaylen said that he sees Marsau as a father figure. And it seems like, to me, I'm just saying how I feel. I could be wrong. But it seems to me that Tisha and Maurice are upset that Jaylen looks to Marsau as a father figure. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, when Tisha specifically, when she went out to dinner with the ladies, and they said that Tisha kind of had a look on her face, and Maurice seems to be upset that Jaylen was treated better by Marsau. And the anger seems to be towards Marsau and not himself. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But is that a bad thing? I feel like that you can find father figures and mother figures and people that motivate you throughout life. You can find mentors in life, but a father figure is something specific. I feel like that he found Marsau as a safe space. And what Kimmy said is that Jaylen felt like Marsau actually liked him and took the time to like him, and he didn't feel like Maurice liked him. Maurice is trying to chunk it up to, I was showing tough love, or he needed to be disciplined. No, that's not what he's saying, baby. That's not what he's saying. Of course, kids need to be disciplined. That's not what it was. Marsau said that he is concerned that a difference was made. There was a difference made. I've seen it with the food situation. I've seen it way back when. I ain't been watching the show. This ain't no shock to me. But Kimmy is saying that she noticed it a long time ago, and this was even before Monster moved in, that she felt like Maurice was hard on him.
What kind of bullshit is that?
And what happens is, I do feel like when you have a stepchild, you got to try extra harder, because it's always somebody want to discipline the child, but never want to spend love and quality time with them and tell them that you love them. You always want to discipline them, but it's never really nothing good coming from you. And Kimmy, you let that go on with your child.
You're horrible, mother.
You let that go on with your child. Then, as she was explaining, he tried to do another but, and Marsau was like, wait a minute, you keep on saying but. You keep on saying but. Like, you trying to justify your actions. This is something serious. This is serious. Now the boy want to move to Colorado. It's like y'all running the boy off. That's how I feel. Kimmy, I can't believe you, Kimmy, because to me, I've always, since I first watched this show, I thought that Kimmy was always of sound mind to me. I cannot believe that Kimmy is in a relationship with a man that she know mistreated her son. That your son can't even look to him as a this tells so much about Maurice, that your stepson didn't look to you, looked to your brother as a father figure before you, and he lived in a house with you. And Kimmy, you know it. Kimmy knows it. Absolutely not. This is nasty. And then it looked like that Marsau and Maurice is about to get into it the next episode. Marsau made a conversation that he grew up with the golden child, which was Maurice. And then now Jaylen is growing up with the golden child 2.0 in Monster.
In some ways.
I believe everything that Jaylen said. I'm just shocked at Kimmy. I'm sorry. I'm shocked at Kimmy. I promise to God, I would not be in a relationship with nobody that mistreated my child. I'm not saying treat them like you. It's to me, I just think that I'm single, right? And I don't have any kids. But I do not think that I can love a child the way I would love mine. Y'all would be sick of me if I had a child, right? But nobody would mistreat my child. And it would break my motherfucking heart if my child told me that my spouse, when you have a child and you bringing a spouse around, you need to check in with your child and let them know. I believe that when you have I don't think that a lot of people really care about, it's not that they don't really care about their child like that, but I don't think that they check in the way that they need to. Because at the end of the day, even though Kimmy and Maurice is married, that's her child. And she needs to be checking in with her child. She should have been checking in with her child. Well, she probably was checking in, just didn't do nothing about it because she knew. She said she already knew. It wouldn't be no motherfucking marriage. And I damn sure wouldn't be around that filling our college applications. I want to know how Monster feel about his daddy. But y'all, that was the episode. Do y'all feel like Kimmy? I feel like Kimmy, yes, Maurice gets some blame, but I feel like Kimmy should hold a lot of this blame too, even more to blame because she knew. It would be different if she didn't know, but she knew. And I just can't imagine, if you can't give my child every motherfucking thing that I'm giving yours, then we have a problem. Let me know if y'all think that Kimmy hold a lot of this weight. Maurice gonna get the business, but do y'all think that Kimmy should get it too? Okay, and also y'all let me know, is it wrong that the boy looked to Marsau as a father figure? I don't think that that's wrong, but I think that Tisha and Maurice is upset about that. I don't think that I actually think that is I actually think that that's commendable. That he found the father figure outside of his home, a person to motivate him and steer him on the right track and give him advice. But I think that Tisha is probably upset because she said the last episode, the sons look to, she said that the kid, she's the disciplinarian in her household, and everybody at her house look to him as like the fun guy. But she probably feels like, I don't know why Tisha would feel. I feel like I know why Tisha feel like that, but I don't think I can find the words to say it. It's some type of slight, right? Who knows? She probably wanted another baby, and he said he didn't want no kids, but you over here being a daddy to this one or something like that. I know it's some type of slight. I don't think that she was happy to hear that my husband around here being a father to your child, and he probably not even really no father in that household. You damn near killed my motherfucking son giving him a peanut butter sandwich. But y'all, that's all I got for right now, y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all think, all right? Thank y'all so much for clicking on the video. I appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.
Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it.